It's relaxing, images of sunsets or sunrises come to mind. But NASA has new evidence of how explosive the center of our solar system really is. NASA's spectrograph, known as IRIS, is now providing some of the most detailed images of our sun's atmosphere. BART PONTIEU is the lead scientist for the IRIS mission, and he joins us via Skype. Thank you so much, Bart, for being with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you to use words that all of us regular people can understand. But explain the mission of IRIS.
So IRIS is the Interface Region Imaging Spectrograph, and what we're looking at is a region on the sun that we haven't been able to look at in a lot of detail before. It's the region between the surface of the sun, which is about 10,000 degrees hot, and the outer atmosphere of the sun, which is a surprising several millions of degrees hot. The reason why this is surprising is because the source of the energy that drives the sun and heats the sun is in the interior of the sun, and you would expect that as you go further and further from the source of the energy, you would get cooler and cooler, kind of like when you have a candle and you put your hands close and you get them further and further out, things get cooler. That's not the case on the sun. The surface is cooler than the outer atmosphere. The outer atmosphere is called the corona. And so between the surface and this corona is this interface region. We've been studying how and why the corona gets hot for a long time. It was discovered in the mid-20th century. And we've made a lot of progress, but one of the things we've realized is that a lot of the clues of what's happening and why this is happening are occurring in this interface between the surface and the corona. And so what we have is a telescope in space. It's about an 8-inch diameter telescope that looks at ultraviolet light that orbits the Earth and continuously looks at the sun. And we launched it in end of June. We started getting images in what we call spectra. And spectra are essentially, we split up the light in all of its different colors. We do this to diagnose the physical conditions there. It actually allows us, without flying through the atmosphere of the sun, allow how hot it is, how dense the gas is, and how fast it's moving towards us and away from us. And so that's what we've been doing the last few months. And we've been studying kind of the role of this interface region in getting this outer atmosphere so hot. The reason why we care is many reasons. Personally, this is the star that's closest to us, and I'm really interested in figuring out how stars work. But of course, Earth itself, we all live in some sense in the sun's outer atmosphere. And Earth is plowing through this outer atmosphere of the sun, and trying to understand how the sun affects us on Earth is more and more important as our technology gets more and more dependent on electronics and spacecraft and power. And all of these things are affected when the sun has what we call space weather, where big storms and explosions are generated on the sun that propagate all the way to Earth. Mm-hmm. So what we're actually focusing on is this region called the interface region, to try to understand what the average state of the sun's atmosphere really is and why it's so hot.
All right, got it. And that was great. I understood every word you said. Let me just ask you a logistical question. IRIS, is it a matter that it's able to get closer than other pieces of equipment before, or that the technology is better to be able to actually analyze this interface of the sun? Tell me about the technology that allows you to see this.
It's not that we're closer, because we're still circling the Earth, essentially. We're only a few hundred miles above the Earth's surface. We do that to be able to look at the types of light that we can't see from the ground. It's ultraviolet light that, fortunately for us, the Earth's atmosphere absorbs, because it would damage us quite a bit. Mm-hmm. But the major advance is really twofold. We have the technology to build an instrument that can see details that are up to 20 times smaller than previous instruments. And we also have the technology to create an instrument that can take images very fast and spectra very fast, every few seconds of the sun. And this may sound like overkill, because if you look at the sun, which you shouldn't do, it doesn't look very dynamic. But in reality, if you start resolving small details in the sun's atmosphere, you see events that travel essentially the width of the Earth, the diameter of the Earth in just a few minutes. And so these things are supersonic. They move at hundreds of thousands of miles an hour. So we need to capture those events. We need to make sure that we can capture them fast enough, take images fast enough to follow the detailed evolution. And so the technology has now allowed us to build such an instrument. The other part of the equation is we're looking at a region that's very complicated to understand for various reasons. that would make me break my agreement to not use words that are hard to understand. So what we have is computer models of the sun to help us interpret the light that we see. And these computer models are run on supercomputers. They take millions of CPU hours on big supercomputers at NASA and also in Europe. And they allow us to really do comparisons between what we think is happening on the sun and what we really see. And so we confront those models with the reality, and that really gives us a lot of insight in what's going on.
All right, we're going to have to let the sun set on this topic for right now. But BART, PONTIeu, thank you so much. How fascinating. What great pictures, too. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.